But what if Canelo shoves you again in this press conference?
I'm gonna cry like a baby.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
The last fighters that you fought, they ain't on my level. And
I fought everybody.
The last fighters you fought since 2000.
Tensions erupted in Vegas as Terence Crawford unleashed his fury on Canelo Alvarez during a fiery face-off that shook the fight world. Terence Crawford's fiery words, "Watch what I do to you," weren't just empty threats during the final face-off with Canelo Alvarez. They were a declaration of war, as tensions boiled in Las Vegas ahead of their September 13th super fight at Allegiant Stadium. The two undisputed champions clashed in a heated buildup marked by shoves, sharp words, and a rising intensity that has electrified fans around the world. At the UFC Performance Institute, where he's often seen training thanks to his background in wrestling, Crawford is recognized by legions of MMA fans who line up for pictures. This crossover appeal only adds to his aura as he prepares for the biggest challenge of his career.
Crawford! 4-time champion.
Crawford, known for his adaptability and ruthless precision, showed off his trademark confidence during the recent press conferences. A proud switch hitter with explosive hand speed and long reach, he's managed to seamlessly adjust in the ring, often switching to southpaw when orthodox isn't working. His aggressive skill set has made him one of boxing's most complete fighters today.
The only running that I'm gonna be doing is running upside his head, and I can assure you that. Facts. And he got a big head too.
On the other side stands Canelo Alvarez, the Mexican superstar who needs no introduction. Calm, calculated, and collected, Canelo shrugged off Crawford's talk and the New York shoving match with composed defiance. He said the push was merely a reaction, not aggression. Canelo also questioned the authenticity of Crawford's bravado, hinting that he was nudged into theatrics by Saudi boxing power broker Turki Al-Sheikh. For Canelo, mutual respect is important, but only until it's not. When lines are crossed, he warned, things change.
I always try to respect my opponents, and I think he don't did them because he really wanted to do. I think Turki Al-Sheikh told him, you need to do something, and he did. And now before I respect his word, because he say, oh, I'm not gonna let somebody to tell me what I need to do. And he did. So, but you know me. I respect everybody, but if you with me, so it's gonna be different.
While the trash talk is heating up, the fight is also making waves behind the scene. The event is being backed by a star-studded mix of figures from combat sports and entertainment. Dana White, Nick Khan of WWE, and Turki Al-Sheikh are all heavily involved in what's shaping up to be a global spectacle. White, the face of the UFC, is stepping into boxing promotion for the first time, co-promoting the bout under the TKO Group banner. He's expressed excitement about his role, acknowledging both fighters' greatness and the opportunity to push boxing into a new era.
I've been a big fan of boxing since I was a kid. I wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for boxing. For this to be the first boxing match that I'm involved in promoting is an absolute honor. Two of the greatest of all time and one of the biggest fights ever in the history of the sport. So very, very proud moment for me, and I've done a lot of things in my career.
Meanwhile, Canelo himself praised White's involvement, saying he respects all UFC fighters and believes the collaboration can result in something massive for combat sports.
You guys make us like look at we are competing, but no, I'm not. I always like Dana White. I like and I respect all the UFC fighters, and I think we can show people if we are together, we can do big things. So I'm very glad to work with Dana White, and obviously everybody involved in this big fight, Turki Alachi, Netflix, Nick Khan, everybody. So I'm glad to go with this guy. So I always like him, and he knows.
Promoter Eddie Hearn in an interview reinforced that Turki Alalshik is the one calling the shots, describing Dana's role as more symbolic, a guest promoter with enormous American clout. Hearn admitted that Dana's profile makes the move smart, even if the real decision-making happens elsewhere.
But the reality is the promoter of this fight is Turki Alalshik. You know, it doesn't matter when, you know, whenever there's a Riyadh season event or a Ring Magazine event, all the decisions are made from His Excellency. I've been involved, you know, and you actually don't really get much of an opportunity to make any decisions because he makes them all for you. You know, everything down to the design of the promo, to the on-sale ticket dates, to the venue deal. I mean, they're financially bankrolling the event, so they're going to be making all the decisions. I think it's a good look to have Dana doing it. I mean,
for Crawford, this fight is a potential career definer, but it also comes with heavy risks. Boxing commentator Max Kellerman didn't shy away from pointing out the danger for the undefeated fighter. Drawing a comparison to the 1983 showdown between Marvin Hagler and Roberto Duran, Kellerman noted that while Duran, like Crawford, was a lightweight moving up in weight to face a dominant champion, the fight was a much tighter contest than expected. Hagler had to outwork Duran in the final round to secure the decision, but the key message was clear. Moving up to face a physically superior champion isn't just hard, it can change a fighter's career path entirely.
How would you sell this fight to a new fan?
It's a bigger event than what I'm about to tell you, but it reminds me a lot of Marvin Hagler and Roberto Duran, which is largely forgotten among the four kings fights, as they say, but Duran was a lightweight. He was moving all the way up eventually to middleweight, where he was fighting who would have been had there been a Ring Magazine championship at the time. But he was the undisputed, he was the man at middleweight, just like Canelo's the man at super middleweight. He's the champ. And Duran moved up from junior middle to middle, but he'd started it light, just like Crawford. And I remember I was a little kid, 8 years old, something, but heading into that fight, I'm thinking, Hagler's gonna kill him, he's too big. And Hagler was the best pound for pound in the whole thing.
The stakes for Crawford are historic. He has his sights set on becoming the first male boxer in history to become undisputed in 3 separate weight classes, something only Claressa Shields has done on the women's side. Meanwhile, Canelo remains grounded but supremely confident. He reminded everyone that while Crawford is great, he's not Canelo. This isn't just about titles, it's about legacy.
Well, listen, I called Canelo out because, like I said, he the last great fighter amongst the era that surpassed us. You know, the Floyd, the Pacquiao, the De La Hoya. We both came up in that era, and he was right there with those fighters, and he got the chance to fight the Miguel Cottos, the Floyd Mayweathers, and you know, the Kovalevs and Triple G's, and I wasn't able to get those mega fights, you know, so this is my mega fight, this is my moment, and that's the reason why I want to fight an all-time great like Canelo.
But not everyone is pleased with how things are unfolding. Oscar De La Hoya blasted the promotion, accusing organizers of soft-selling a fight that should feel like a war. He pointed to a photo of Canelo and Crawford enjoying dinner together and questioned whether real rivals should be that friendly. Comparing the scene to past legends like Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson, De La Hoya argued that boxing needs tension, not champagne.
So the ridiculous promotion of Canelo Crawford has given me lots of good ammunition. Ooh, first, let's take it back to last week when this photo was taken of Canelo and Crawford having dinner together. Like they're best friends.
I love you, man.
They're buddies, like they were family friends. I mean, can you imagine Muhammad Ali or like Joe Frazier having dinner together? What? Can you imagine Mike Tyson and Mitch Green before a brawl? What? No boxing fan wants to see 2 fighters having dinner together.
We could have a dinner on Wednesday night.
We want bad blood.
De La Hoya also took shots at Dana White, mocking the UFC head's response to promotion questions and labeling him a Neanderthal. He sarcastically called White a walking billboard for affliction, while accusing him of dodging serious discussion. His core point, though, was that this fight lacks the kind of antagonism that makes fans care, something he believes is being sacrificed for corporate polish.
Because if it's in the evening, that means Dana White will have to choose whether to be present at the UFC match in Texas or the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. And when confronted about his plans, Dana White simply chose to be the Neanderthal that he is, dodging the question and calling me a douchebag. I mean, it's ironic coming from the guy who's a walking billboard for affliction. I mean, we can all agree, if you look up the word douchebag, in the dictionary, Dana White's photo pops up.
While opinions are mixed on the build-up, experts agree on one thing: the fight itself will be unforgettable. Announcer Michael Buffer, known for his legendary presence in boxing rings, said he expects a technical chess match rather than a knockout war. In his eyes, this won't be decided by brute strength, but by strategy, angles, and timing. He applauded Dana White's promotional instincts and said that his presence can only help boxing evolve.
Michael, it's not a big fight unless you're announcing it. Canelo versus Crawford. How do you see that one going?
I think it's going to be a close and interesting fight.
Right.
I think it's going to be a technical fight, not a power fight.
Now, what do you think about Dana White promoting it? Do you think
he's only proven himself to be one of the greatest promoters in the history of sports?
So he's good, pretty good deal. He's good for boxing.
Oh yeah, he don't know what to do.
Because some people like De La Hoya have been a little critical of him, but he has the Michael Buffer approval, obviously. For sure. You're the man. Thank you.
Another detailed prediction came from British cruiserweight champion Vidal Riley. He foresees a quiet, tactical opening to the fight, the first 3 or 4 rounds serving as a feeling out period. As the match progresses, he believes Crawford will begin to find his rhythm, especially if he switches from orthodox to southpaw, which has worked in past fights.
What sort of fight are you expecting? I'm expecting a quiet 3-4 rounds. As the fight moves into the middle, I'd expect Crawford to find his rhythm. It all depends on what stance Crawford thinks is the one to use against Canelo as well, because we've seen him come out orthodox, have a bit of difficulties, and then just switch southpaw and then start winning the fight. So I wonder how Canelo's going to deal with that change of stance. Someone who is equally as good on both sides. It's not like he can switch a bit. He can say, you know what, orthodox, I'm losing, I'm just going to go southpaw for the rest of the fight. Canelo hasn't had to deal with a conundrum like that in a while. It's a very interesting fight. Will someone get dropped? Yes, someone's getting dropped. At this level, bro, I don't write off anyone's abilities, because we know Canelo can drop Crawford.
Riley acknowledged that Canelo hasn't had to deal with a fighter who's equally good on both stances in a long time, and this ability to adapt mid-fight could be Crawford's secret weapon.
But we can't be so sure that way and unsure the other way. Crawford had a year to build up to this weight, so yeah, man, it's exciting.
Who wins the fight?
Crawford points.
Riley wasn't ready to rule out knockdowns either. He expects someone to hit the canvas, pointing out that at this elite level, anything can happen. While Canelo is undoubtedly capable of dropping Crawford with a well-timed body shot or uppercut, Riley said it would be unwise to assume Crawford can't return the favor. He noted that Crawford has spent an entire year preparing for the jump in weight, suggesting that his body and power may be ready for this level of challenge. In the end, Riley went with his gut and predicted a Crawford win by decision.
No, genuinely, if you would have said Canelo versus Bob Crawford, we would have never believed it. Especially when one guy is fighting at middleweight, one guy is fighting at light welter. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you didn't expect it to happen, but Crawford looked big though. Taking the time out to put the weight on, and he's had like a year to prepare for this, so he could also bulk and be ready. So I'm interested to see, really more so, if Canelo can show us flashes of him in the past, because we haven't seen that Canelo in a while. He's had a few touches, based on his level, how elite he is, he's had a few touches. This is not a touch with Bob Crawford.
Adding an extra layer of excitement, Turki Alalshik and Dana White revealed that performance bonuses are being added to the event, a first for boxing on this scale.
Performance bonus that night is going to be over 6 figures. We're still talking about it, so yeah, it's going to be a big number. Whoever wins the performance bonus of the night that night.
They confirmed a sizable reward for a knockout, creating further incentive for fighters to go for the finish. Alalshik, who's been instrumental in Riyadh Season's rise as a fight destination, emphasized that gimmicky matchups are done. From now on, it's only real fights.
This is the first thing. The second, we will have in this fight and the next fight, bonus for KO.
That's fucking illegal.
Moving on, Crawford's last big test was against Shawn Porter, a gritty and aggressive fighter, and he passed with flying colors, stopping Porter late. But this is a different beast altogether. Canelo is a proven veteran at super middleweight. He's been through wars with Gennady Golovkin, fought the likes of Dmitry Bivol, and dominated at 168 pounds for years. Crawford has to prove he can take shots from a bigger man and still execute his game plan.
When asked about facing David Benavidez, Canelo said he preferred fighting Terence Crawford, not just for the challenge, but because a win over Crawford would look better on his record.
And do you think fighting the 4-pound smaller king does more for your career than facing the bigger, menacing Mexican monster and David Benavidez?
You can see the career of Terence Crawford Benavidez. Terence Crawford is undisputed champion in 2 weight classes, many championship fights, so he bring me something to the table.
Despite the questions, one thing is clear. Fans are in for a blockbuster night. With all 4 super middleweight titles on the line, legacies will be made or broken. Crawford wants to be the first male fighter to conquer 3 divisions at the undisputed level. Canelo wants to prove that even the best from below can't touch him at the top. Behind the glitz and the show, this is a battle of greatness, and neither man is willing to blink.
The last fighters that you fought, they ain't on my level. And
I fought everybody.
The last fighters you fought since 2002.
Mention me one. You mention me one elite fighter. Just one.
You.
Oh, me. It's gonna be me.
I don't care about nobody else.
And you will see that.
You. So when I beat you, is you gonna be a nobody? When I stuff a mud hole in your ass, is you gonna be a nobody? Same everybody else been saying since I moved to 147, I ain't fought nobody. Every last one of them stump a mud hole in their ass and he gonna be next. Watch.
Live only on DAZN, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Adding fuel to the fire, Froch didn't hold back when talking about how dangerous this matchup could be for Canelo. He believes it's entirely possible that Alvarez could lose, despite being the favorite. In his eyes, a Crawford victory wouldn't even be a major upset given how many fans and analysts already think Bud has what it takes to pull it off. Froch praised Crawford's mental strength, calling him a tough, confident fighter with a sharp boxing IQ. He also acknowledged that Canelo's ring experience and mastery of the sport are second to none, making this matchup all the more intriguing.
I really don't, although the Brits do want to see it because of the history of Ben Eubank. So out of all the top fights that potentially could happen that I would want to see, and I think that boxing fans would want to see, especially boxing purists, it's going to be Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. It's got to be all day long. I mean, Terence Crawford is just an unbelievable talent, and we've never seen him beat. So when there's somebody who's unbeaten, you always want to see how they're going to cope with somebody who's potentially got a massive favourite. We saw what happened to Amir Khan when he stepped up from welterweight. He got absolutely ironed out, but that's sometimes what happens if somebody's smaller coming up to a bigger weight division. They get clipped on the chin. They're not used to taking that punch power. And up at light middleweight, when Terence Crawford stepped up to fight Israel Madrimov.
Meanwhile, Jim Lampley reflected on Canelo's past bout with Floyd Mayweather, expressing hope that the Mexican star has taken valuable lessons from that experience. He emphasized Canelo's outstanding skill set and impressive track record, noting his consistent success and the fact that he's never been knocked out. Lampley believes Canelo will be a serious challenge for Crawford in this matchup.
Canelo's smart. Absolutely, he's smart. He knows this business as well as anybody. So no, it's not surprising that Canelo learned from Floyd and has employed some of that in the retention of his career. Canelo still knows how to make fireworks when he absolutely has to make fireworks. But at the end of the day, he's a counterpuncher. He's a great defender. He has the most solid punch resistance of anybody in the sport. Nobody's ever knocked him off balance. Nobody's ever really knocked him down. There's only one official knockdown in his career, and it was because he bounced off the ropes when Jose Cotto hit him with a hard shot to the chest.
And the heat is rising as Canelo and Crawford keep trading shots, not just with their fists, but with bold words and brutal warning. And with Dana White stepping into the boxing spotlight alongside Turki Alalshik, announcing juicy TKO bonuses for the fighters, this showdown just got even more explosive. But while Dana adds fuel to the hype, he's also catching fire from critics questioning his place in the sweet science. Still, one thing's for sure, when the bell rings, talk is cheap and fists will do the talking. Who walks away with the win? The slick technician or the relentless power puncher? One thing's certain, fight fans are in for a war. Don't blink.